We're right back at it again like a Vince McMahon NDA. This is Extreme League Wrestling, and here are our craziest wrestling controversies, Part 2. The Vince McMahon NDA Scandal Update. As we discussed on our last video on this topic, the WWE Board of Directors is currently in the middle of an investigation for a $3 million NDA settlement for Vince McMahon. This investigation, of course, is in regards to a 2019 relationship Vince McMahon and Johnny Laurinaitis had with a WWE paralegal. To go into that part of the investigation more thoroughly, please make sure to check out our first episode of Wrestling Controversies. But in a bombshell update to this story, the Wall Street Journal has reported on July 8th that over the past 16 years, Vince McMahon has doled out $12 million in NDA settlements in regards to sexual misconduct and infidelity. The $12 million was reportedly settlements for women who had past been affiliated with WWE, including the paralegal in question in the previous report. The largest of these four settlements came in regards to a situation in 2005 where Vince McMahon coerced a female wrestler to give him oral sex. Afterwards, once the female wrestler in question denied Vince McMahon's sexual advances, she was dropped down the card, punished in the company, and ultimately WWE declined to renew her contract. This settlement was then reached in 2018 when the female wrestler in question and her attorney approached WWE and Vince McMahon. The other two settlements in question both settled for the amount of $1 million. One of these other non-disclosure agreements involves an incident with an independent contractor with WWE in 2008 where Vince McMahon sent her unsolicited nude photos and sexually harassed her around the office. Another sexual relationship in question in 2006 saw a $1 million payout in exchange for this former WWE manager's silence. Within this Wall Street Journal report, they did discuss that the paralegal situation and the $7.5 million payout are under investigation by the WWE board. Of course, like many of these corporate sexual misconduct cases go, the company has declined to comment, and Vince McMahon's personal lawyer has said that WWE has paid no money to either of these women. Whew, okay, now that we have the facts out of the way, and God, I really feel like I'm gonna need a shower after reading all of that, so I think we can all agree that Vince McMahon is pretty much done, right? While yes, the first NDA settlement was from a consensual relationship, the only thing that could be deemed illegal is if that money was paid through WWE as a company. And while yes, a non-disclosure agreement for a sexual relationship outside of your marriage is checks notes not good and a little gross, the biggest smoking gun here and the thing that really needs to be brought into question is the non-consensual sexual activity. The unsolicited pictures, the unwarranted sexual harassment, it's all, while yes, illegal, also extremely gross and terrible. And also just the defiance of Vince McMahon during this entire thing, showing up on Monday Night Raw, showing up on Friday Night SmackDown, in an act of defiance towards everything, with a quote, attitude. And yes, we do believe every man is innocent until proven guilty, and WWE still needs to conduct an internal investigation. But please, we beg of you, if you're going to a WWE show, a Monday Night Raw, a Friday Night SmackDown, and Vince McMahon shows up, stop cheering him. Stop cheering him like nothing is going on. Stop cheering him like nothing is wrong. Please, for the love of God, this sets a horrible precedent for the future of this industry that we love so very much. Okay, rant over. Can we please talk about something that's a scandal but a little less intense? Al Snow and Head. Fun fact, we at Extreme League Wrestling love action figures. Here's a little shot of our collection. The world of toy collecting has definitely grown in the past few years, with specifically wrestling toys getting a gigantic renaissance with the likes of AEW and WWE putting out high-quality action figures. But the toy market used to not be as diverse, where in the 1990s, toys were strictly seen as a child's market. One day in 1999 in Georgia, a woman took her two children to the Walmart toy section and was horrified by the Al Snow action figure. If you're aware of the wrestler Al Snow, chances are you're probably aware of Head. Head was a gimmick Al Snow developed in ECW, where he would use the mannequin Head to talk through multiple different personalities. This mother visiting Walmart with her children in 1999 did not do any research or watch the product or anything like that. She instead wrote a letter to the Atlanta Constitution stating that the action figure promoted spousal abuse, which is quite contradictory to what Head was, because Head was never referred to in a gender sense. Head was always referred to as Head or they. Hot take, Al Snow was hip to the non-binary folk way before everybody else was. With wrestling at the time being at the height of its popularity, the Atlanta Constitution decided to print the letter, causing a firestorm for Walmart, quickly pulling the Al Snow action figure from their shelves. All future Al Snow action figures that depict Head no longer have the past Barbie doll head look, instead going for a more neutral, styrofoam, bland version. Al Snow later revealed in an interview in 2018 with Hannibal TV that his action figure is on the list of 22 things Walmart refuses to sell because they are, quote, a dangerment to society. And if you're curious about the rankings, Al Snow's action figure is ranked number 5 on the list, with Pregnant Barbie being ranked number 1. Okay, cool, we had a very nice, simple overreaction to a toy. There can't be very many crazy wrestling controversies after this, right? Oh gosh darn it, the ROH Rob Feinstein scandal. In 2004, Rob Feinstein, the founder of ROH, caused a giant black eye in the wrestling world. In 2004, Rob Feinstein was caught in an internet sting operation in which he had planned to meet up with a minor. After being arrested in this To Catch a Predator style sting, the fallout from this was major for Ring of Honor, with multiple news outlets covering the story. The fallout from this situation even saw the ending of the working relationship with TNA Wrestling, now known as Impact Wrestling. Feinstein was later bought out, as the company would then be sold to Kerry Selkin, and while yes, a huge blow to ROH as a blossoming company, luckily this did not dampen its very bright future. SummerSlam 2016, Brock Lesnar vs. Randy Orton. You know, often when I was a child, when I didn't understand the world of kayfabe, I often thought to myself as I saw wrestlers bleed during their matches, man, why don't they stop this and I don't know, get him some help? Pretty soon after that, my young self learned what blading was. Blading, for those of you who are unaware, is whenever a wrestler during a match takes out a razor and makes himself bleed to add to the story. Normally this is just like a nick within the eyebrow, a nick above the eye, or just a small incision somewhere on the face to cause the effect. So imagine that, but instead of a blade, it's Brock Lesnar. During the match between Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton at 2016 SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar took some real unprotected headshots to the head of the Viper, leading to him being really busted open. This of course was agreed between the two and was not frankly discussed backstage until it happened in front of everyone live on pay-per-view. This then escalated to a conflict between Brock Lesnar and Jericho, leading to the two getting into their own shoot fight backstage during the pay-per-view. 6 years later, and this moment is still causing controversy. Chris Jericho revealed on a podcast in July of 2022 that Brock Lesnar was using homophobic language backstage during this altercation. The only thing we have left to say is, Vince, what made you think we want to see this? Why? I don't want to see a man really get hurt. Do you know that this is predetermined? Wrestling Entertainment Series. Post-WWE release, the wider wrestling world was excited to see what the former Akam and Razor, the authors of Pain, would do in their next venture outside of WWE. Color us surprised and curious when they announced that they were going to be starting their own wrestling promotion, with an impressive roster to boot, including former WWE superstars such as Mojo Rawley, Nia Jax, and Eric Young, with their inaugural main event being headlined by the former Braun Strowman taking on UFC fighter Alistair Overeem. Well, at least it would have happened if it all didn't go horribly wrong. Their inaugural event was set to take place in Dubai in the month of June until something happened that derailed the entire situation. Unfortunately, the month before the pay-per-view saw the death of the UAE president as the government declared a 40-day mourning period for the country. The company then went on a scramble to find a new place to hold their first ever event, landing at the Motorport Arena in Nottingham. WES then faced more obstacles, with the Queen's Jubilee Day being set for that weekend. WES did not give itself any favors online, giving almost no updates to the event and only reposting match graphics for the card. And funny enough, Chelsea Green, of all people, exposed WES for not going ahead, responding to a tweet from Fight TV promoting the event, and Chelsea Green just replied, "Actually, it's cancelled." WES again did themselves no favor by taking over 12 hours to respond to the allegations of their show being cancelled. And in response, they just shared more match graphics and announced more talent for the show. More wrestlers began to speak out on Twitter at this blunder of an event. These allegations ranged from false advertising to not setting up travel for wrestlers prior to the event. And instead of taking these seriously and clearing up any miscommunication, WES just responded to each allegation in each tweet with a promotion for their pay-per-view. Then finally WES announced that their pay-per-view would have to be cancelled, but not due to their own poor planning. Instead, they blamed the talent. But yes, it was not the fault of the promoters poorly promoting the event, not finding a good venue, and not promoting the event well enough. No, it was because of the wrestlers not wanting to show up to, wrestle, which anyone with 2 brain cells would know. Wrestlers, like wrestling, so why wouldn't they want to show up to your wrestling show, especially in such a high amount of talent? The former Braun Strowman and Mojo Rawley were quick to jump on this, disputing these claims of talent not wanting to show up. One of my favorite tweets from this firestorm is Chelsea Green, who stated that fans need refunds, not for you to sit there and blame talent. So chances are we're never going to see WES ever again, and you know what? We're personally fine with that. Thank you guys so much for watching part 2 of our Wrestling Controversies series. Let us know in the comments, what should we cover in our next episode? Remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. This has been Extreme League Wrestling, and we'll catch you next time.